This is going to be a footballing video. No K-pop, no movies, no trailers. Football. I do love Spurs. Going through a bit of a rough patch though. If you could just hit subscribe though, just to start off with. Been making a video every day for over 600 days if you don't know. It's every day, bro, with everyday flow. And I'm not stopping until I get to 10,000 subscribers. So the quicker you hit subscribe, the quicker I can get 10,000 subscribers. The quicker we can all go to sleep. Yes. Indeed, that would be wonderful. But Spurs do have a giant problem going on, and that is all over the pitch. But specifically now, with Kane being out for 2.5, 3 months until April, we have a gaping hole at the top of the pitch. Now, yes, I personally think Son can play as a striker with Dele as a second striker, but Mourinho obviously doesn't want that. I don't think Son is the best at it, but I think he does nick a lot of goals playing in that area. I don't think Mora can play solely up top. I know he scored a hat-trick against Ajax, one of the most ridiculous games I've ever seen in my life, but I don't think he can play that solely on his own. So, inevitably, we need to go into the transfer market, if only for a striker. Because at this point, I think the only way we can make top four is if we outscore everyone else. And I think we can score goals. It's been proven under Mourinho. You know, it's a lot of goals. It's very uncharacteristic of him. But, you know, I don't think we're going to have a clean, squeaky clean defence over the next 6 months. I think it's going to be very, very leaky. And I think the only way we're going to be able to progress up the table and try and make a Champions League spot is if we basically outscore everyone in the bottom half of the table. Because realistically, if we beat everyone in the bottom half of the table and we get a couple of results from the top half of the table, we will get in the top four. So really all we need to do is score more goals. Seems really simple, doesn't it? Hire me, Mourinho. Hire me, Spurs. But this is a list of 12 players, some of them aged, some of them young'uns coming up, who I think could actually do a job for Spurs, whether in the short term or longer term. So I'm going to start with the three off the top here, the old guys, Dzeko and Mandzukic to start off with, all right? I don't know how long they've got in their legs, either of them, but they're goal scorers, proven, many, many leagues across the world. They are old, all right? I'm not going to act like they're spring chickens, but they are top men. They are people who are 6 foot plus, and they are the type of guy up there who I think Mourinho would want. He likes the aged player anyway, the veteran, if you want to call them that. So I think that those two are options. Whether I think they're going to happen, I don't know, but I think they're very big options. Then there's Giroud, the London Fleabag, as I call him. I don't want him. I think he's a good link-up player. I think he does hold up the ball well. I just don't think he's the best finisher. I don't think he would do that much for Spurs, but he's third on the list, I guess. Danny Ings, having a mad season. He wouldn't be on here if it wasn't for the season he's having. Popping him in just for fun. Popping him like bloody cherry drops. Just having a right old time with it, all right? He's just banging him in the back of the net. And no one would have thought it. He's one of the top goal scorers in the league, like 13, 14 goals. You know, you could probably poach him. I think he's in his 30s. You could probably poach him for like 25 mil. Get him in for 6 months. If he scores 10 goals, then he's worth it. I don't know. I think it's unrealistic just because they're not going to want to let him go. But I think there's a chance that the Ings could happen. He does hold up play well. I think he's someone Mourinho might actually take a liking to from his style of play. So I would say Ings is a possibility more so than Giroud, Dzeko and Mandzukic. But I'm really unsure about all four of them. Then there's the Ebra problem. You know, if Harry Kane had got injured and diagnosed before Ebra had gone to Milan, Mourinho would have been on the phone getting Ebra over. That's just a fact. Everyone knows we were hunting. Spurs were on the hunt for Ebra at that moment in time as a reserve, as a backup. Yeah, he can't play 90 minutes, all right? Ebra can't play 90 minutes, but he can play 60. He can play the second half 45 if need be. Bring on Troy Parrott for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes at the end of the game as long as we have it all sorted out. I think Ebra would have been a very, very, very clever buy considering he was free. Obviously a lot of wages, but he is one of the best goal scorers in the history of the world. So I would personally have taken Ebra out of all of them so far on the list just because he knows his place, because he is 38 years old. He knows Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, and he has an opportunity to make an impact in 2-3 months going on to the rest of the season. And I think it was a 6-month stint that could have been really good for him. Obviously, he's gone to Milan. Hopefully that works out. Now we're into interesting picks, I think, not just old veterans, as I said earlier. Immobile. I think he's a very, very good striker. He's top. Obviously, he just went to Lazio, so it's not probably going to happen. But I think maybe in the summer, there's a chance he could maybe come to Spurs. Now, he's someone who is a fickle suggestion because I'm not sure he would want to play number 2 to Kane because he seems to have a very big ego. And big egos are good sometimes in football. Ebra has the biggest ego in the world, Ibrahimovic. But he's sort of one on the sidelines here just because of the type of person he is and the persona he seems to have, you know, the way he puts himself out towards the public. So I would say unlikely, still a very good striker. I'd love to have him, but I don't think he would want to be playing second fiddle to Kane, and I don't think there's a way him and Kane could play together in a team. Then we have Kramaric from Hoffenheim, really good season. Again, I'm not sure how he can play with Kane, and he's someone who is really making a name for himself right now in the Bundesliga. So I think he's someone who could make an impact. I think he's someone who can score goals, who can do a job, and I think, again, the problem is I'm not sure he would want to play second fiddle to Monsieur Kane. You know, I don't think a lot of people are going to want to come to Spurs and just be sitting on the bench waiting for 15 minutes at the end of the game, 10 minutes at the end of the game, or for Kane to get injured, you know. So I think it's a problem area we have, and I think the next person we might have a chance of actually sliming by here, and that's Raul Jimenez. I think Jimenez can play not just... I think he can play up front with Kane potentially. I don't know. I haven't seen him play, but I think Jimenez is someone who's gone under the radar for a long time, and over the last season and a half, he's sort of come to prominence. He had a good season with Wolves last year in Europa League, doing well there, and doing decently in the league again this year. Normally, teams who don't normally play European football have big struggles in the league the next season, and they've seemed to cope with it pretty well. I think Raul Jimenez is a good bet for Spurs. He's probably going to be 30 plus mil, I would think. And I think he is someone who would take an opportunity if it was handed to him, whether Kane was out or not. And I think he would do his best to try and get in the team one way or another without like sulking. So I think Raul Jimenez is a side bet here. I think he's someone who potentially could do it and potentially take on the role of being the second striker. But again, he's having an upward trajectory going career at this moment in time. So no one really wants to play second fiddle unless either they're on the way out or they're on the way up and starting out, which is why Troy Parrott is where he is right now. We can't put him on the pitch for 90 minutes. We can't risk him, you know, playing for 90 minutes and being unproductive on the pitch. So we need someone else. And it's a lot of stress on the lad. If he's like 18 years old, 19, I don't know. You can't throw a bloody child out, you know, against 33-year-old men. It's dangerous. I remember playing basketball when I was 17, 18. And we played basketball, obviously, against people like our own age in school. But then we'd also play basketball against like 30-year-old men. And honestly, guys, it was absolutely disgusting. It was rank. We would lose like 102-15. It was really, really bad. So, yeah, it's not good to play against men when you are actually boys. Plus, we were banging. We were above average, but, you know, compared to playing against men, we were damn shit. So I think that there's a risk that it could just stifle his career and stunt him if he does get put in too early. Now we get to some of the people who I think could genuinely do it for Spurs. Genuinely be long-term signings. Real long-term signings. So we have number 1 here. Another Moussa Dembele. I mean, it's worked out well for us in the past. Let's take a punt at another one. He was at Celtic before. He's doing well in France right now. So I think he's a shot. He's super young. He's got a lot to learn. I think Mourinho can coach someone like him. So I think there's a lot for Moussa Dembele. It's weird saying Moussa Dembele and not thinking of my Moussa Dembele, the tank, the bus, the unit. This one's definitely none of those things. But yeah, I think that this guy has pace. He has finishing, he has skill, he has everything that could lead up to him being a very good striker or winger. And I think the versatility there could be a very, very good thing for Mourinho as a utility player regardless. Plus, I think because of his age, because of his growth, I think that there's a chance he would take on the second striker role and being on the bench when Kane is at his best. If not, he can come in for Ali, come in for Son, come in for Moura on the wings. And I think he can do a job for us. As I said, we've had a good history with Moussa Dembele, so let's give it a shot anyway. Then we have... oh, Patterson Daka. Now this Zambian motherfucker, he's lashing him out. He's lashing him in for Leipzig. And I really, really think that obviously Haaland got the entire... He got the props for what Leipzig have been doing. And then Minamino as well. But I think Patterson Daka might slyly be like the link-up guy here for Leipzig. I think that they could really struggle without him, especially because now they've lost Haaland and Minamino. Minamino is someone I wanted at Spurs, honestly. Really, really good utility player all around the pitch, all around the front three at least. So I think this guy, I think he can do a job. And I think that he's the type of guy I think Mourinho would actually like. He has that Drogba-esqueness. He's pretty quick. I think he's a good shot. Then obviously we have a bit of out of left field type of options here by Sean Wiseman. Now Wiseman, if you don't know, is a bit of a unit. He's been scoring a ton of goals this season. I looked him up. I was looking up like compilation videos and he popped up and I was like, who is this guy? He's Israeli, I think. Maybe he must be like German or something. German Israeli? I don't know. It's weird how stuff happened there. Plus, I saw a goal he scored. This guy is like improvisational as hell on the ball. He will try things that he's got a bit of that Dele Alli flair. Like Dele Alli will do things you think you shouldn't do or are not possible. He does those things as well on occasion. So I think he's a good bet for us. I think that the fact he scored 2 goals against Roma at home in the Europa League this season, that is a huge telltale sign for me that he can actually put on the pants and do it. You know, like Palpatine says, do it. He does it. Roma are not an easy team to score against historically, all right? At home specifically. I know last season and this season they've been a bit fluffy, but generally they're one of the best defenses in all of Europe. You know, Italian teams generally do, but yeah, the fact that he scored 2 goals against Roma at home this season in the Europa League, that one shocked me. I was like, damn, that's a surprise. Like, I was even more for him at that point when I saw that. And he puts his body on the line. He really, really does. Last person on the list, Timo Werner. Now, this one is not happening. He's one of the best young strikers in Europe. If he could come to Spurs, that would be great. But it's probably not going to happen. All right? He's probably going to be one of the best strikers in world football over the next 5 years. I would love to have him at Spurs. He's not a short-term replacement. He's a long-term solution. And I think what Mourinho needs is, honestly, an overhaul in a lot of ways of the squad. I think 2 years ago, a year ago, we were probably 1 or 2 players away from winning the league. Now, it sounds crazy. You're a Spurs fan, bigging themselves up. No, but I think a couple of years ago, we were 1 or 2 players away from winning the league. Now we are half a squad away, half a team away at least, from being in the position we were before. And that's not winning the league, that's coming in 3rd or 4th. That's the reality of the situation. We need a new right back. We need probably a new left back. We need a new centre back. We potentially need a new keeper. We need new centre defensive mids. The only place where we have abundance is in attacking mid. That's it. Nowhere else on the pitch do we have support. Nowhere else. So, yeah, if Timo Werner wants to come over to Spurs, I mean, I'll have him. He's probably going to cost like 70 mil at this point, but I'd buy him for 70 mil. The guy is just a beast when it comes to hitting the bloody net, all right? He just has this elegance about him when he plays. It's really, really crazy. People are rating him, but I think they're slightly underrating him. He could really be one of the world best. He could be a world beater. So that's my list. If I was to pick one of them, I would pick Timo Werner. That's not going to happen. So I think if it's a 6-month type of stint, I would want Danny Ings, or maybe Sean Weissman. I'd take either of those two, I think. I think they're good bets. I think they'll do a job. They'll take the back seat when it's necessary. But I think that maybe going for a super young person is not the bet, just because they're inexperienced and they might not be able to handle the pressure. Going for someone aged, maybe, is what Mourinho will do. I'm not sure it's exactly what I want him to do. But, yeah, I'd go Sean Weissman or Danny Ings. I mean, I'd like Kramaric, yeah, or Timo Werner as well. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then I don't know, Mourinho, he'll smile at you, and apparently now it's a smile of a bloody god. He's a very happy guy. He'll burn you to pieces with his pearly whites. You don't want that. You really don't, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great. I'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. Indeed, tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Skadoosh.